Hey everybody, welcome to 4th grade recorder. We're going to work on our black belt today, which is called Lil Liza Jane, on the Red Oak Specials Facebook page. I have posted this picture as well as a recorder fingering chart to help you figure out some new notes that we're going to learn today. So how this is going to work, I'm going to go through the basics and kind of the path I would take in trying to play this test for myself, and I will play it for you in whole at the end. So if we look at the beginning, we notice that it's kind of longer, but we also need to notice our time signature. So we look here and we know that we're in the treble clef, and we look right beside it and it has a 2/4. Now usually we see a 4/4, but today it's going to be a little different. So if you remember, the top number in a time signature tells you how many beats are in a measure. So if 2 takes that place, that is telling us that there are 2 beats in a measure, okay? And the bottom number tells us that the quarter note gets the beat, okay? So if we look here, we can check to make sure we have 2 beats in a measure because we start off with 2 sets of eighth notes, right? And 2 eighth notes by themselves, like this, get 1 beat. So we have 1, 2, and now we know we're in 2/4 time signature. So starting from the beginning, let's just look at the rhythm. We have T, 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 ta. And now we have finished the first 2 measures. Let's keep going. Oh, this is different. If you look and see a note with a stem, with a flag, that is actually 1/8 note, okay? So to say this rhythm would be T, ta, T, two. Okay, since there's only 1/8 note, it only takes up half a beat, so those go a little quicker. Let's say that one again, starting in measure 3. T, ta, T, 2. And remember, half notes get 2 counts, okay? Now, let's look at the second line. It seems a little similar to the first in rhythm. T, 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 ta, T, ta, T2. So a great way to kind of figure out, this is what's called syncopation. This is where the beats don't always line up. We have T, ta, T2. And that is the rhythm for our last 2 measures in the first and second line. Okay, so let's go through and let's fill out the notes for just the first 2 lines for right now. So if you look, we're going to start with the note that's on the first line of the treble clef staff. Now, I think this one is new for us, so you're going to be learning some new notes today. How fun. Okay, and this first one, this is called E, okay? Whenever you see a note on the first line of the treble clef staff, it's going to be E, all right? And to play E, you need both hands. You need your thumb in your left hand, 1, 2, and 3. And in your right hand, you need 1 and 2. Okay, let me show you that really quickly. So, again, I've got my left hand on top. I've got thumb, 1, 2, and 3. And in my right hand, I have 1 and 2. Okay, this is E. You don't need a whole lot of air for this. And it's super soft. Okay, so if you look, we have 2 E's in a row in the first measure. So if you want to write that in with a pencil with me, that would be awesome. We have E, E, and then if you look, we go down 1 note. I'm sorry to block your view. We go down 1 note, okay? And I want you to think in the alphabet. If we go down in the staff, we're going to go backwards in the alphabet, okay? So if we are at E and we need to go backwards 1 note, that would be E, D, okay? So that next note, that is the space below the first line, E, E, D, okay? And to play D, all you're going to do is you're going to add another finger from E. So again, D is the space below the first line. In your left hand, you need thumb, 1, 2, and 3. And in your right hand, you need 1, 2, and 3 as well. Okay, so to play that, thumb, 1, 2, 3. Right hand ready, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's going to be D. Okay, here's E and D. Okay, so one more note and then we will be good to get going a little faster. If we're on D and we need to go down one more, okay, and this note is a little different because it has a line in the note. That is telling us it's going to be on the next line. That's not written in the staff. So these two notes right here are what's called below the treble clef staff. So we have E, E, D, and since it's one step below, think of the alphabet. What's one step below D, or one letter before D? E, D, C. So this note right here, this is going to be called C. Okay? Oops. This is going to be called C. Now to play C, again, below the staff. Thumb, 1, 2, 3 in your left hand. And then in your right hand, you need 1, 2, and 3. And you need your pinky. Okay? So, again, left hand, thumb, 1, 2, 3. Right hand, 1, 2, 3, pinky. You have almost every finger. You have every finger possible down on the recorder right now. So starting on E, here's E. D, add one finger. Whoops. Again, you don't need too much air, just like I did, okay? Really use that nice, warm air. And C. E. D. E. D. C. Again, you don't need much air at all. Okay, so from there we can fill out the rest of the first line. We have E, E, D, C. Then we go back to the first line of the treble clef, which would be E. And we have a note on our second line, which is a note that we know, right? This is going to be G. Thumb 1, 2, 3 on our second line. E, G, G. Good. So we have E, E, D, C, E, G, G. If you look, this next note's going to be right next door on the next space, second space. A, G. You go from A back down to G. Note on the first line, E, and end on G for that last half note in the first line. Okay, I'm going to play for you slowly the first line of Lil Liza Jane. Okay? E, first I will say the notes and then I'll play it for you. Here we go. E, E, D, C, E, G, G, A, G, E, G. Okay? And make sure we hear that T-ta, T2. Okay, now let's look at the second line. The first two measures are the exact same as the first line, so we're going to go fill those in. E, E, D, C, E, G, G. Okay, that should be something that's pretty similar and pretty familiar to us at this point. Then we're looking at the third and fourth measures of the second line. We're going back to the first line, which is E, E. Then we finish, go down one, D, one more, we end on our C. Now this C is going to be one that you want to remember. This has a little nickname called middle C. Okay, middle C is actually the middlemost note in the piano, and that's why it's in between. So if you look at a grand staff, which is a treble clef staff and the bass clef is low notes. This note is directly in between the two, so that's why we call it middle C. Okay, so here's the second line. We'll sing the notes and then we'll play it. E, E, D, C, E, G, G, E, E, D, C. Okay, now I'll play it for you. Now with those low notes, it is super easy to like play that higher register. What you need to do, make sure your holes are covered and use really nice, slow, and warm air. I know you hear me messing up, so it happens to everyone, okay? Now, let's look at the third line. This is our last line, but it's a little different, okay? So, what we're going to do, we're going to figure out the notes, and then we're going to see what these mean right here. If you look, our first note of the third line is on the third space of the treble clef staff. And this note is actually pretty special because we already have one named that in the piece already. So this one is going to be called C. It's in the third space of the treble clef staff. 1, 2, 3. And to play C, you need your middle finger or your second finger or your thumb. This is a note that we have played before, so this is kind of a review. Remember, it's kind of the weird one. You need your second finger and your thumb. So we have C. And then, if you notice, this note is not like a regular quarter note. This has a dot beside it. So whenever you add a dot beside a note, you're going to add whatever is half of that note to the original note. So half of 1 would be a half, right? So this note is actually 1.5 beats, okay? So when you play it or you say it, it'll be ta, ti, ta, ta. You hold it out longer than a quarter note. And remember, when an eighth note is by itself, it gives a half a beat. So, ta, ti, ta, ta. It's good to sing through just so you can hear that kind of rhythm. Okay? So, when we figure out the rest of the notes, we have ta on C. And then our second note of this measure is on the second line of the treble clef staff, which is G. Okay, so we have C, G, we go up to 1, A is on the second space, right? Then we go back down to G. So we have C, G, A, C, right? Then we go back to our second space note, which is A. Go down 1 to G, skip down. Okay, so we're going from G to the first line, which would be E, and end on G. So right now you should have C, G, A, G, A, G, E, G. Now, I'm keeping a beat with my foot, and that would be also good to keep so that you can kind of feel the T, ta, T, two, or ta, T, ta, ta, okay? So, now that we've got those first 4 measures, we are almost done. You're doing great. What I want you to notice, you have 2 lines right here with 2 dots and 2 lines right here with 2 dots. If you remember that, that is a repeat sign. So when you get here, you're going to play through here, okay? And then you're going to go back to the repeat sign, and then you're going to play number 2. We didn't talk about number 1 because that's already written, okay? So you have, for the first time, C, G, A, C, A, G, E, G, go back, C, G, A, C. Then we're going to skip all the way to the second ending. This is called a second ending. The beginning of the second ending, we have 2 notes on the first line, which would be E, E. And we've heard this one before. E, E, go down 1, which is D. And then you go down 1 more, which is C. Okay, so this is a little confusing. Let's sing through it together, starting on the beginning of the third line. Ready, and C, G, A, G, A, G, E, G, go back, C, G, A, G, skip, E, E, D, C. Let's do that one more time before I play it all for you. Here we go. C, G, A, G, A, G, E, G, go back, C, G, A, G, E, E, D, C. So, I hope that makes sense. If it does not, please do not hesitate to reach out via email or via the Facebook page to answer some questions. Now I'm going to play through the entire piece, okay? Starting with the very beginning all the way to the end, okay? Here we go. See, it's difficult. Now I'm on the third line. Back. Okay, now I'm going to play it through one more time and hopefully get those low notes to come out a little bit easier. Remember, we have to use a lot of less air and very warm air. Okay, from the beginning one more time. Maybe. Go back. Now, remember, just like I did, if you mess up, my number one rule is that you keep going. You don't let one mistake ruin the rest of your performance, okay? Now, you've got plenty of time to work on this. If you want to send it to me, that would be awesome. And if you have any more questions about this piece, let me know. Okay, bye guys. Thank you.